Hi, everybody. So, I am apologizing because we had a wonderful, wonderful session last night. And because things are really, really a bit crazy and overwhelming with work, I completely forgot to hit the record button. So I am going to do a quick re-recording and recap of what we covered last night with two methods of creating the base structure. And I'm going to switch to my overhead so that you could see what I'm doing, and I will post that instead. This is part one, as our participants had such a good time that we're going to do a part two in 2 weeks and come together to paint and decorate our 3D constructed letter. So here we go. All right, as you can see, this is what we created yesterday. This is from 2 sheets of 9x12 cardboard that were cut into my letter. Inside, you can see the Dixie cups that are used to support the structure. And then we used this craft gummed tape, paper tape, to close up the structure. And this is as far as we got last night. What I'm going to do is to show you a second method that came up during the workshop as a suggestion because of lack of supplies and last minute situations. So I used cardboard that I had ordered for school in sheets of 9x12. Today, I'm going to try to use things from around the house. So I had an old postal box, which is a thinner cardboard. It's not corrugated. And I am going to cut it down to a workable size. You need 2 sheets of exactly the same size. You're basically going to make a sandwich, and the 2 outside letters need to match exactly. So again, we discussed you can use cereal boxes, you can use shirt cardboard from dry cleaning, and the structure that you make can be any size that you want. There's no required size. It's whatever works for you with the materials that you have. So right now, I'm cutting down my postal box. Okay. Now I'm going to draw my letter. I'm going to just do an A, and I'm going to use my ruler so that my lines are nice and straight. Let's see. This is about 9.5, so 4.5, 4 3/4 would be my middle point. And I'm going to make the top of my, I'm going to make an A for my last name. So 3.5 from here, and 1, 2, 3.5 here. All right. So I'm going to go corner to corner to make my outside of my A. Actually, I think I'm going to make the angle a bit wider. Oops. Just gonna cut it as I go. Now your kids, that my students did this project, they used scissors, and where they had a hard time cutting inside of letters or tight spots, I helped them with an X-Acto. I didn't give them the X-Acto blade. Okay. I'm not liking this, so I'm going to make it a little bit narrower. All right, so here's my first A. And now I'm going to use this as a template for my second A. So I'm going to trace this on my other cardboard. And then cut this out. Okay, so here we have our two A's. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to create the inner structure that will support a 3D letter. And what I used in school are Dixie cups, paper Dixie cups. And when you use these, in order to get the most support, you should stack them one up, one down, so that you can get as many as you can close together. Highly recommending positioning them first so that everything is spaced out properly before you glue it. You don't want some super crowded and then others far apart. Okay. The best way, as I said, is to do some up, some down. The art police won't come get you if there are two up and two down next to each other. But what you also want to make sure of is that the tops of the cups, which are the widest part, are inside of the cardboard. You don't want anything sticking out. So because this little part of my A is narrower, when I glue it down, I have to squeeze it a little bit to make sure that it fits and nothing sticks out. Okay, so here is my A with the cups in position. All right, now there were members yesterday who suggested if they don't get cups, what could they do? And the easiest solution that we figured out is that if you use cardboard and cut it very, very straight and evenly, you can create the inner structure by folding the cardboard into a zigzag pattern. And gluing that down. This way. To create the solid structure. Okay, so whatever you have, we are problem solvers, we make it work. So if you have the cups, you can use the cups. And if you have the cardboard, you can glue the cardboard as your structure all the way inside your letter. So I am going for speed, I'm going to use a hot glue gun for my first layer of cups. So I'm going to glue these down. When I did this in school, we used tacky glue. I think Elmer's is too runny for this to work well. I'm just using this for speed, and when we make the sandwich, I will use tacky glue because the hot glue will dry too fast before I can make the actual cardboard sandwich. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Right. So these are being glued down. And here is the thinner area, so the open cup won't fit as it is. So I'm going to squish it in that spot until it sets. Hold it a minute so it completely fits inside the cardboard. Go. So now the entire base structure has the support inside. Okay, I don't know why my whites are so bright white, and I apologize. So now what you want to do is glue your second letter on top of the cups exactly. And what I'm going to do is use the tacky glue and then make sure that when I glue it together, it stands perfectly vertical and everything is aligned and covered. Okay, you don't want your letter leaning. My sample that I did yesterday actually did end up leaning. So what I had to do, and it happened to a couple of my students in school also, just trim off the side that is uneven. You can take a scissor and cut it down and rebalance it so it stands perfectly straight. Okay. So, to position top of the A as best that I can. And I'm going to stand it up and adjust it, wobble it a little bit, make sure everything is tucked in. And then what I did in class is I had the kids leave it overnight with a book on top to weigh it down and make sure that everything was in place. Don't have a book handy here at the moment. My other letter and put it right down on top of it. And I am going to go get a bowl of water next and a sponge. And I will be right back. Okay, ideally, you want to let this set and have the wet glue dry because you're going to be applying wet gum tape to hold the entire thing together. So this is the tape that I purchased. You can get it on Amazon. It's craft gummed tape and it's packing tape basically. So you're going to, what I had my students do is start out by sealing all sides first, wrap and completely cover all the sides and edges of the letters, okay? So I also, what I did, rather than have puddles all over the place, I had them cut small pieces, fill a bowl with water and a sponge, and then run the tape over the sponge to wet it rather than dipping the tape in the water because then you'll have puddles everywhere. And what you want to do is wrap the edges as tight as you can, pull it nice and crisp over the edges, and make sure that the sides of the tape are completely flat and you have a nice crisp coverage. You don't want it bubbled or loose or floppy, and you don't want any flaps coming up on the sides of your letters. Everything should be flat and clean and crisp. You're going to go around your entire letter and do overlapping and wrapping and pull it nice and tight so that you achieve your crisp edges. Now, when you have a curved letter, like I did yesterday, you're going to have to cut narrower pieces, thinner than the actual tape, in order to wrap around the curves of your letter. And then once all of the sides are covered, you would cut a thin piece and go over this to create your smooth edge. Okay. Today I'm working with the straight A from my name. And I'm going to go around and wrap up my whole letter. I start with the edges, as I said before. And then what I do after all the sides are done, I come in and I do a coat on the flat back and the flat front. The tricky part is getting inside here because you do have to seal the holes of the letters. And you also want to make sure all the nooks and crannies do not have holes in them either. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to cut a piece of your tape. And then for an inside corner, you're going to fold the tape in half with the gummed part outside. You're going to lay the fold inside the corner angle. And then you're going to cut on that fold to create flaps outside of your letter. Okay. So you've got these flaps now. And what you're going to do is then wet your tape. And fold it inside of your angle. And then you're going to fold your flaps one way this way and one way that way. And that completely seals that little corner. Okay. So this is what it looks like on the outside, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Now, when you come around the top or the bottom of your legs, and you have those angles as well, excuse me, you're going to fold it in the opposite direction. So the gummy part is on the inside of the folds. Okay. And then you're going to lay that fold on the angle of the base. And again, you're going to cut your tabs. So you've got your tabs this way, and here. And you're going to wet your paper. And just repeat it in the opposite way. So you're going to put your fold along the edge and angle, and then you're going to fold in your tabs nice and tight, and fold down the top. And now you've created your perfectly sealed corner of your base of your leg. See that? So you've got the inside corner, and then you've got the outside corner, and that's how you go around and you seal the whole thing. Now, when we do the tiny little part inside, obviously you have to cut a much thinner piece. So I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to fold it with the gummy part out. And I'm going to feed this through so that it is stuck in that little crease. And I'm going to cut on the fold to create my tabs for folding. Okay, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to wet it. Slide it back through. And fold the flaps down so that everything is sealed up and lays flat. So this is what it looks like. This side, this is what it looks like on this side, and then the inside is sealed down there. And you would repeat for the other two corners or whatever your configuration is in your letter. Okay. Then you would let this dry, and once your entire letter is covered, you gesso the entire thing. And so everybody got homework yesterday that they have to complete their letter and gesso the structure so that when we come back together again, I believe I'm going to do it on June 1st. It's going to just be a painting and decorating party. So if everybody's ready with the taping done and the gessoing done, then it's all about the paint and decoration. All right. If you have any questions, you may feel free to email me at mndnspirit@aol.com. And I'll be happy to help you out. And I will see you at the next session.